Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks. Hot off another Eagles victory. 3-0 now. Sailing that ship from Tampa, got that dub. And honestly, it was 25-11. But they smacked that ass. Like it wasn't a close game.
It wasn't as close as the stat line might tell you at all. Yeah.
No. And I will say we got Mr. Michael joining us today because Timothy wanted to experience Oktoberfest out in Germany. So that is what he is engaging in. I don't know what the word for that is, but he's getting down with it. But Mike, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure. What'd you think of that game?
Happy to be here, man. I'm always happy to join my favorite Eagles podcast.
Hey, say a little louder.
Yeah, game was good, man. I saw some great things, some great improvements. Typical Eagles fans on Twitter last week were driving me just insane.
Oh, I know.
People were calling for Brian Johnson's head, and I'm just like, hey, man,
two games.
It's gonna take some time. They're gonna get their motion. They're gonna get their rhythm back. It still didn't look as pretty as you would want it to look, but
right.
This is the stretch of games where you figure things out because things get very difficult after week 6. So this is the time to tighten up those loose knots and work out those kinks. When you have somewhat inferior opponents on the other side of the football. So I think that we still have some time to figure things out. I think that Washington is going to be a good game. But let's not talk ahead yet. Let's stick with the Bucks win here. A good win. We'll dive into some things. I've got plenty of notes. But I'd love to hear any notes that you have about the game first and what your thoughts were, initial thoughts, some concerns. What stood out to you the most? Let's jump into it.
Yeah, I think right off the bat, you already made a good point about looking ahead to the next game. Because, I think Sirianni does a great job of coaching these guys up and getting them prepared. But I feel like if I was a player on the Eagles, I look a couple weeks down the road, I'm like, damn, we got to play the Dolphins in a couple weeks. Like, that's going to be a shootout. Like, that's going to be a tough game. But yeah, like you said, we pump the brakes a little. It's crazy to me how night and day the run defense has been from last year. Like we were signing people off the streets to help us stop the run. And then you put Jordan Davis in there. He's like, I got this. One-arming people. He grabbed the Bucks running back. The way he grabbed him was like a parent trying to grab its kid off the playground, like running away. I'm like, this man is huge. Like, it's crazy. Him and Carter are everything we had hoped for. They're great. Saw a little Nolan Smith action. It's good to see him getting some reps. I'm still waiting for that Hassan Reddick sack game. Like, he's going to have one of those 3-sack games eventually, but it's weird. They're getting pressured. They're just not converting to sacks. But Mayfield had like 70 yards the whole game besides the last drive. What'd you say?
Is he still struggling with his hand, Hassan Reddick?
I don't know. He might be. I see him like every play. I'm kind of like corner of my eye watching, and he's getting there. Like he's getting a push. He's getting the lineman to move back a lot, but he's just not. He's like a second or a second and a half too late every time. So I think he'll get there. I'm not concerned about it because he's still causing a rush, which is still causing them to have to get rid of it. I think the previous 2 games we saw the Eagles get a lead, and they play a lot of prevent when they have a lead, so they'll give up yards that way. But I think the defense and the run game have been the story so far this season. I still think Jalen is struggling a little bit. I don't know if he's just trying to get comfortable in, the new offense, slightly changed offense. I wouldn't say new offense, but I think he'll be fine. And if nothing else, it's like, if he has to be a game manager and like have these games where he's 1 touchdown, 1 interception, like 200 yards, not much rushing, I'm fine with that because they're still going to win. They're 3-0 and we're complaining because of how this is not the standard they set for themselves. Like, that's a good sign.
It's a good sign because you can only go up. You can only go up from here.
Yeah, and I mean, if I see Kenneth Gainwell start another game, I'll riot because DeAndre Swift is the man.
The
16
man.
carries, 130 yards, and the week before that he had 175. Keep giving this man the ball. He should have had
Give
more
him
than
the ball.
130. They
Give
robbed
him
him.
for sure. Yeah, he should have. He should have had Daniels 200, man.
Mm.
Again, and I understand. You want to distribute the work a little bit,
Oh, I
and
know.
I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that in a minute.
But he's
Um,
second now in rushing in the NFL
he
behind I think
is.
McCaffrey.
I mean, yeah, McCaffrey
Wow.
behind
Wow.
CMC. Crazy, man. I did not think we would be talking about Swift having this many yards this early in the season. If you would have asked me this question, when they traded for him, because I'm a big DeAndre Swift guy,
Same.
but I do understand that he is very injury prone. The injuries have kind of hindered him when he was with the Lions.
Mm.
But man, I can't believe the Lions let him go. Honestly, um,
Gave him
even
away for like a fifth or a sixth. I forget what we got him. Another Georgia
crazy.
Bulldog.
Yeah, yeah, dogs, man. Homecoming, him and Olamide Zaccheaus. I didn't know that they both went to St. Joe's Prep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, but I definitely agree with everything you said. A couple of notes here. I'll start it off with Jalen and the offensive scheme. They still look a little shaky, but
Mm-hmm.
he was getting his swag back a little bit.
A little bit.
Game. He still went 23 for 37 with 277 yards. He had a touchdown, two interceptions. I'll talk about the interceptions because the stat sheet, the interceptions. When we talk about interceptions with a quarterback that's early in the season, I think there's going to be a lot of scrutiny because it's Jalen Hurts and he didn't have that many last year,
Yeah.
and he's already got like half of the amount of interceptions that he had all year last year.
Yeah, I think he had
Um,
six all of last year, and he's already got like what, four or five?
Yeah, he's got four, I believe.
Damn.
But the first one was just a clear miscommunication. DeAndre Swift. That's where I'm kind of more optimistic about the offense and the play calling because, you know, they were kind of not on the same page. It was a little bit of miscommunication. He cut inside. I think
Mm-hmm.
Jalen wanted him to stay flat, and then he threw it flat and he threw it right into the arms of Devin Way, I think it was, linebacker. So that wasn't totally on Jalen. It wasn't a bad throw. It was just miscommunication. Then that interception by D Delaney downfield when he threw that bomb to Devontae Smith, that was just a great play.
Mm-hmm.
The way he jumped on that ball made a very athletic interception. You can't really blame that on Jalen. That was just a great play by the DB there. But he started to look more poised in the pocket, which I really love.
Yeah.
I feel like he's been leaving the pocket. He's been leaving a clean pocket way too much the past three games, and he's been sitting. He was sitting in there a lot more. Which
He needs to get rid of the ball faster. That's my biggest takeaway from the first three games. Is just he's holding on to it too long.
he's holding on to it, and then he's leaving clean pockets. And that throw to Olamide Zaccheaus was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Um, he stayed poised. He saw the hit coming, but he still stood his ground. He saw Olamide down the field, and he delivered, a drop in the bucket, perfect pass for the touchdown. That was really encouraging. But I'm not worried. I think that they'll get there offensively. I think Brian Johnson will get there. I'm not going to start calling for his head until like week 7. If this still hasn't improved, I'm going to start asking some questions. Another note is AJ Brown. He had a big game. He went, I think, is like nine receptions, like 130 yards, no touchdown, which drove me insane gambling wise. Because
I
we
don't
all
want.
thought
Oh
we
man.
the assumptions were correct. It was a big AJ game. He was going to be force fed the ball. We all knew that. But two very catchable touchdowns. The first one, not really
I,
totally on him. I mean, the safety had a jump on it. I think that would have been an interception if it was any lower. Um,
I don't think he
but
saw it, if I'm being honest. I think he saw it at the last minute, which is why he couldn't get his hands high enough to get a better grab on it. I mean, it touches your hand, you catch it. That's kind of, you know, the unwritten rule for receivers. But I don't think he saw it because of the defender, like you said. So, but yeah,
the
that
second one,
second one was devastating.
we've seen him make that catch so many times.
Devastating. I told
That
you
was
too, because we were talking about it, like I had a parlay and I was like kind of confident. I was like, it could happen. Like I think AJ's gonna have a good game. And then I was worried because I was like, all right, well, I don't know if they're gonna meet the spread of 26.5 that I had him at. And I was like, and the Bucks are awful right now. I don't think, Mike Evans is gonna get a touchdown. lo and behold, the Bucks all of a sudden got fire and went down and scored. I was like, all I need is an AJ Brown touchdown, and I was like, why,
Yeah,
why? And then they teased me on that last play, threw a little slant to him at the like 4 yard line. I was like, you motherfuckers! Cost me 1,000. Not cost me. It was a $10 bet, but I
yeah.
could have had $1,000. I was like,
Those are the worst, man.
uh.
You know, I had a huge betting day with Saturday, like college football. I've been on the college
I
football.
stay away from college football betting.
Dude, I've been on the college football tear lately, like
uh,
overs and unders and spreads. It's just like wow, like these points, they give way too many points for those games, for some of those games. And I had a really good day Saturday, and then Sunday I just lost everything. And then
yep.
Monday I had like a little bit left. I'm like, let me take these safe parlays, and everything hit except for AJ Brown touchdown anytime, which just killed me. Um, but yeah, and then back to what you said about the run game, man, 55% success rate on runs. That's a huge
It's
on the
insane.
ground game. Ground game is great. You know, DeAndre Swift, give him the ball. Stop giving the ball to Kenneth Gainwell. Stop it. I understand you want to distribute the work. You know, you want to get Gainwell some touches. You want to avoid any significant injury to your star running back with DeAndre Swift, which is what he's turning into for the Eagles. But you know, I need to see DeAndre get most of those touches. Cam Jurgens is playing phenomenal. Really happy with what I'm seeing from him. Jordan Davis, man, he's amazing. Like you said, made a huge. I was worried about him, you know, making that jump. And I think that once Nakobe comes back, you know, with linebacker, I've been surprised how well our linebackers have been doing. You know, they've been playing very well. What is it, Morrow and Cunningham? Um, not sure if is it Morrow or Morris?
Yeah, Moro.
Morrow, yeah, they've been playing pretty well. When Nakobe comes back, I think that they're gonna, you know, they're really gonna solidify that defense. I love what I'm seeing from Desai. So the question marks with Desai for me are somewhat answered. Like I think it's already a huge upgrade from Gannon because he's making adjustments in the game as he needs to, which is a lot more than you can say from Mr. Jonathan Gannon, who I hate, which was really conflicting. I'm just like, man, the two people that I absolutely hate are playing against each other, Jonathan Gannon and the Cowboys. And I think that the best scenario that could have happened with that game because they lost to the Cardinals. And
Oh
I'm
my
just like,
god.
man, I hate Gannon, but I hate the Cowboys even more, man. And I love to see them lose to a team that's clearly and Kaiser White getting the interception in the red zone. That was just sweet serendipity, man. It was beautiful. But
Yeah.
last couple things that I have on the game, you know, is Reed Blankenship, who says white men can't play DB.
I mean,
Come
I
on,
did,
man.
but I'm being proven wrong.
I mean, everybody did, but Reed, man, undrafted free agent, he is
I was re
establishing.
I was reminded last night that the resident Reed Blankenship hater because I just thought last year he was very like me. I mean, it was his first year, so I was like, "What's whatever?" But I wasn't impressed by him. And then everyone was like hyping him up, and I'm like, I don't see it. I don't know. It's just some white plug and play safety. This ain't
See
no
that?
Eric Weddle, relax. And he's playing well. I'll give him credit. They were struggling without him, and he made some good plays. He had one blemish. He missed a tackle, but he made up for it with the
Yeah,
pick. Had
yeah.
some strong
Made up
tackles.
for
So
made up for with the pick. He had six other tackles that were great. He led the team in tackles.
yeah, he's.
Sydney
I can't
Sydney Brown,
complain.
man.
Oh,
Sydney Brown.
I was so excited to see him get some action, and he made a really good play on Mike Evans
He
to
did. That end zone
disrupt
play,
that.
huge Sydney Brown play. I need to see more Sydney Brown. Um, but yeah, and then I'll get to the man of the hour, Jalen Carter. I'll get to him later on when we're talking about studs and duds. Not to
Okay,
give it away,
okay.
but yeah. But overall, great game. But I'm excited to see the improvements because there's still some improvements to be made. But like you said, we're complaining about this Eagles team, and we're 3-0, so it's a great sign. So I'm
Yeah,
excited.
and they also know, like Jalen talked about in his press conference, like there's a lot to grow. There's a lot more room to change things, to be better at stuff. So they know they haven't been playing their best ball, which is I think important because a lot of teams they'll be like, oh, we're winning, so like we're doing it right, obviously, but they're very critical of themselves, which they go game by game, which I think is important. They're not looking at the full season as a whole. So yes, they play Washington. Is that home or at Washington? I don't remember.
It's all, that one's
Home.
home.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then they play I think the Rams and then the Dolphins and then Washington at Washington. So once they hit the Dolphins game, that's kind of starting the stretch, you know.
Yeah,
They have a couple NFC East games and then they play, Bills and Chiefs. So they need to get these easy. No, I wouldn't say easy, but these teams that they should beat, they need to keep beating them.
you can keep
Um,
using it.
so
Sure.
that they can afford to, I think they'll split. I don't think they're going to lose to the Bills and the Chiefs. I think they beat one, lose the other. I think the Dolphins is a toss up right now. The Dolphins look like the better team. I won't lie, at least
Yeah,
offensively. I think defensively we look better. But we'll see. We'll see when we get to that. But there are other games. If you're done with your Eagles talk, I can move on to some other games that went on.
let's do
All
it.
right. Speaking of those Dolphins, I don't think they did they break the record. I don't know if it was broken or not, but
They tied it.
they tied it.
Yeah, they needed three.
70 points. They beat the Broncos 70-20. And I had a parlay with I picked a bunch of game win just money lines. And I was like, you know what? This could be a track game for the Dolphins. Maybe I'll took them off. Boy, was I wrong on it. I mean, I lost anyways because the fucking Jaguars lost, but
Yeah.
um, man, the Dolphins just kicked ass. Broncos look rough. I don't know if this is secretly they're trying to tank for Caleb Williams or something. I don't know, but they look terrible,
Yeah,
terrible.
I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say with the Broncos. I'm not really sure what's going on in Denver, man, because it's not that like yes, Russell Wilson looks bad. He doesn't look great,
He looks
but
old.
also just yeah, and then their defense. You go from a top five defense to just playing like complete shit, and I don't really understand
Yeah,
what's
I
going on
don't.
there.
I don't.
I think that they're not gonna. I don't think that they're gonna be this bad all season. They're not gonna stink this bad. But there's definitely something going on in Denver. It's just weird. Sean Payton, with the resume that he has, you would expect to see a huge improvement right off the bat. And that first game, it looked pretty promising, but man, they've just been getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect a Sean Payton, Russell Wilson led team to be 0-3 and look this bad.
Yeah,
It's weird.
exactly. Yeah, it's weird to see, but man, Miami, they are terrifying. They're so fast. They're so much faster than everybody on the field.
Yep.
Devon A. Chain and Raheem Mostert, 4 touchdowns each.
They
Um,
not only do they have some of the top speed at wide receiver, both their running backs are fast as hell. I'm just like, oh my
that's the
God.
shit. That's the shit. And Raheem Mostert. Every time I watch him play football, I'm just like, man, how can the Niners let him go, man? He's so good.
He was on the Eagles. How could the Eagles let him go?
The Eagles let him go too.
He was on the
What?
Eagles practice squad, I think, and then he was on the roster for a couple of weeks, and then yeah, same with Jordan Poyer, the Bill safety.
Oh
He
wow.
used to be on the Eagles, and then they let him go, and then he became a Pro Bowler. So,
Yeah. People flourish in different systems, man. And
oh, absolutely.
I think Mike, man, he's a great coach. Yeah, he's definitely a guy's guy. He's a funny guy. He's just like I feel like if I saw him walking down the street, I probably would not recognize him because he's just such a casual dude. And man, what he does with that offense, with the motions and Tyreek Hill and Mostert and Tua, man, Tua looks great. Tua's been looking really clean. As long as he can stay healthy, I really like the Dolphins for my Super Bowl pick, at least to make it to the Super Bowl, to make it out of the AFC. Because from watching the Bills and the Chiefs, I don't see the Chiefs. You never write out Patrick Mahomes, but I just can't see the Chiefs going very far this year with that offense. They've got just absolutely no one other than Kelsey. Um, so it's definitely it's leaning towards the Dolphins right now in the AFC.
Yeah, they do look loaded and scary. So we will
Yeah,
see. They one of the only 3-0 teams with the Eagles, and then the third 3-0 team, which is crazy to me that week 3 we only have 3 undefeated teams. That's pretty wild. But
yeah,
the other one,
Niners,
yep, the 49ers, they beat down on the Giants 30-12. I think we can
surprise.
safely say the Giants are garbage. um, they do not look good. Um, Not much to say
Yeah,
on that game.
not much to say on that game other than I
No.
think Brock Purdy isn't really great, but
He
if
he
you put
gets
him,
he's not flashy, but he's a good starter, I would say. I mean, he gets the job done. Um, I think technically he hasn't lost a regular season game as a starter, so I mean, it is
Yeah,
what it
man.
is. But
That offense is very QB friendly.
oh, I mean, yeah,
I
you
think
got Debo,
system.
Ayuk, CMC, Kittle, great offensive
Yeah,
line, and people complain about Jalen Hurts, and then well, he's loaded. Like the Eagles have this and that. I'm like, there's a lot of what quarterback? There's a lot of elite quarterbacks that have great talent. You telling me Pat Mahomes is overrated because he had Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill at the same time? Come on,
yeah. Nah,
like
man.
it's such a boring take, but
It is. Like, come up with something else, man. It's
yeah,
bullshit.
but
But yeah,
elsewhere, the Lions beat the Falcons 20-6. Lions back on the winning side. Falcons brought back down to reality, and their undefeated streak is over. Um, Not much to say about that. Craig Reynolds, Kutztown alum, got some carries, so that was kind of cool.
yeah. Hey, shout out to Craig, man. Love to see that you're doing well in the NFL, man. Hope it continues. Hope you have continued success. Um, but yeah, man, I'm furious with the Lions. I don't understand what they're doing with the running back room.
Yeah, I don't know
Because
either.
you have a 12th, you spent the 12th on Jameer Gibbs, and it seems like you guys aren't really doing much with him. I don't know if they're easing him into the offense, easing him into the NFL, but every time he touches the ball, I feel like it's really explosive. Has a chance to make a really big play. They said that they were going to use him in ways that were never seen before, unconventional. I'm like, yeah, we've seen this before. We've seen teams put their star running back on the bench when he should be getting the majority of the carries, which he did during this game. But it wasn't really the past 3 weeks have just been kind of disappointing fantasy wise. I'm speaking completely from a fantasy perspective because I do have Jameer Gibbs on my fantasy squad, and he hasn't been doing
Um,
much. It's driving me insane. But Lions love Dan Campbell. I love that guy so much. Love to watch him coach football. Amon Ross St. Brown or Amon Ra, I'm not sure which way you pronounce it, but Amon Ra, man, he's awesome. He's a stud. Love to see him play. And then CJ Gardner Johnson, man, I feel for him. I did love CJ, and I'm not the Eagles fan. That's like, that's what you get. But I hope he has a speedy recovery because that defense clearly is missing him. Desmond
yeah.
Ritter confirmed he sucks. I don't think that he is good. I think that Taylor Heinicke show should be starting shortly.
Oh,
Um, I think that they have a better chance of winning with Taylor Heinicke behind um, with the ball than Desmond Ritter. Desmond Ritter is just kind of he doesn't suck, but he's really unremarkable. He'll give you the bare minimum, but he won't win you games in situations where you need your quarterback to really put his best foot forward and shine and get the ball down the field. Um, but I mean, when you have Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, um, as your two running backs, you don't really need to be throwing the ball too much. But when you're going up against a semi decent defense to a good defense, you're gonna need to sling that ball. And
yeah.
Desmond Ridder is not the guy for you to be doing that. You have Drake London and Kyle Pitts. There's no reason why you shouldn't be having more success through the air. And I think Taylor Heineke would be the best fit for quarterback for the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he did okay when he was with Washington. I mean, he wasn't, lighting up the room, but serviceable quarterback. Um,
He's a winner.
yeah, got
He
some
won. He
grit to
won.
him.
He beat the Eagles.
Let's not talk about that. Moving on. uh, as Tim would proclaim, the Vikings are must see TV, and so they had a nice game with the Chargers, 28-24, but the Chargers pulled it out. The team of
Yeah,
unbeatens, or excuse the team of on winners. I don't know what the word is for that, but both teams were 0-2, and now the Chargers got a W, so they needed that desperately. Um, Sadly, Mike Williams out for the year now with a injury, but man, Keenan Allen is like found the fountain of youth. Same with Mike Evans. Both of them are just balling right now. And they were like 5 years ago, they were like the cream of the crop, and then they, maybe the past 2 years have been a little quieter, but Keenan Allen had like what 200 receiving yards. I think he leads the league in receiving, or he's top in it. It's crazy.
yeah. Keenan Allen stud. The Chargers, very frustrating team for me. I've been calling for Brandon Staley to get fired for a couple of years now.
Austin Eckler needs to get
Um,
healthy for my fantasy
also,
team.
yeah, Brandon Staley has some very questionable play calling. I don't think
Yeah.
he's a great coach. I think that he is on the hot seat because he should have been fired last year. With Lombardi, was it? Who was the offensive coordinator that got fired for the Chargers?
I don't remember, but you know what? Now that you bring it up, I was thinking about this the other day. Um, Brandon Staley and Josh McDaniels are the same person, but with different specialties. Like
Yep.
Josh McDaniels, phenomenal offensive coordinator, dog shit head coach. Brandon
Oh shit.
Staley, phenomenal defensive coordinator, really hasn't proven anything as a head coach. And the Chargers arguably have one of the most talented teams in the league, and every
They do.
year they suck. And Tim and I talked about this last week. Every year they disappoint, and it's been like that since Philip Rivers was there, and they just
Yeah,
can't get it together.
it has, and you have such a unique talent with Justin Herbert. His ability to sling the ball, he's a gunslinger, man. Like he has amazing arm talent. And you have such a great offense. You have weapons. You have such guys. Like top to bottom, that defense is great. Like like you could name guys like top to bottom on that roster, and there's no reason why they should have been 0-2. But they just fall short. Last year was the injury bug. It seems like they might not have that much of a problem with injuries as of yet because I mean they lost guys really early last year. When you looked at the injury report for the Chargers last season, it was really crazy. How they were still winning games. But now most of your guys are healthy. I mean, Mike Williams is down, yeah, but you still have Josh Palmer, you still have Keenan Allen, and you have Quentin Johnson. I'm like,
Oh
when is
yeah,
Quentin Johnson going to start getting involved, man? I
his
like Quentin
stock's gonna
Johnson.
rise.
I love him, man. I have him on my bench, and I'm
Same.
going to keep my eye on him. I'm gonna keep my eye on him, man, because Quentin Johnston, I think he could be a really great addition to that offense.
Every draft
But
I had, I bookmarked him right at the beginning because I was like, I want to catch him at the end of the draft.
for sure, him and Tank Dell. I'm like Tank Dell's gonna be my last pick because people didn't really know who Tank Dell was, but I'm like, man, I saw him in preseason, and he's been having some great games, and I'll get to that later on when we talk about our next segment. But yeah, Vikings 0-3. I think that they should start to hit the panic button. I think that
Hmm.
if they lose another game, they should start thinking about the future. I think unload Kirk Cousins. He's on his last year. I would love to see Kirk Cousins on the Jets, man. Just saying. I would love to see the Jets trade for Kirk Cousins. But yeah, I think that they're teetering between thinking about next year and just hitting that panic button. I think that the 0-3 is tough. Your playoff probability from there just falls off a cliff, which is great because I chose the Lions to win the NFC North. So it's great for my betting. But Vikings, man, they just fall short. The point differential this year is getting to them. Instead of winning all these 1 point games, they're losing them all these one possession games.
Yeah, they're looking rough. We'll see about the Kirk Cousins possible trade, but I was also just thinking about this with the Chargers, not to get too much on this, but I mean, you had Philip Rivers when he was in his prime, a top quarterback. Then you
Yeah,
go to Justin Herbert, arguably a top 10 quarterback right now. You
true.
had LaDainian Tomlinson, one of the
Right.
best. Then you go to Ryan Matthews, who in his prime, when healthy, was a pretty good running back. Then
Mhm.
you go to Austin Eckler, also a really good running back. Antonio
Quentin Johnson.
Gates to Keenan
Quentin Johnson.
Allen. Like you've had talent. You just can't get it done. It's crazy.
Top to bottom.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I think that they might figure it out. As the season progresses, I still like them to go to the playoffs. But I do think that Brandon Staley's going to get fired. Praying on it.
I do not praying on it.
I hate him. I can't stand him. He's
I do
fucking nerd.
I do think if they miss the playoffs or they lose in the first round of the playoffs, he will be on like a very, very hot seat. If they made it to the playoffs, I think it's a little cooler. But if they miss the playoffs, I think he could get canned. So we will see. It's been there like 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. So
Here we go.
we'll see. Elsewhere, Packers took care of the Saints 18-17. I mean, the Saints were winning like all game, and then all of a sudden the Packers had a nice little comeback. I'm not gonna lie, Jordan Love has
Man,
looked pretty good. Like he's looked pretty solid so far, and
Are you surprised?
I'm a little surprised, yeah. But but we'll
Yeah, I
see.
mean,
We'll see where that goes. I mean, if the
I had
Packer,
a
if they strike gold with Jordan Love after having Favre to Rodgers to now Love, like blessed.
for sure. I mean, I said this, last year. We haven't really seen much from Jordan Love, and he had the opportunity to sit back for 2 years, and was it 2 years or 3 years? I'm not sure, and
Like
just
four,
watch
three
it.
or four.
Oh shit, yeah, and just watch Aaron Rodgers, and learn from him. And I'm just like, you can't say that this guy isn't going to be at least decent. And he's doing what he's doing now, without his top wide receiver with Christian Watson.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when Watson gets back involved in that offense, I think that the Packer stock is going to rise for sure. What's his name? Matt LaFleur is a great coach. So he's got a young group of guys, and I think that they can do something. They can do some great things in Green Bay with the group of guys that they have. Aaron Jones is still really good. He's getting up there in age,
Oh,
so
I
he's
love
probably
Aaron
going to be,
Jones.
but he's still awesome. AJ Dillon has been a little bit of a disappointment. Not sure what's
You're
going on there.
you're telling
I
me.
mean, yeah. I mean, the offensive line injuries with Bakhtiari going down, it's understandable. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think that the Packers got a good thing going. But besides that, I was super, super happy to see Jameis Winston play football. Love Jameis Winston. I
What?
love Jameis. I
Who
love
says
him.
that?
I love him. I love him. I love Jameis. He's just such a great guy. He seems like such a great guy to be around. Like,
So interesting. I mean,
yeah,
the eating the W on his hand like a fucking.
he's hilarious,
He is
dude.
different, man. I don't.
Like the getting suited up for a football game in college when he was suspended was so funny. Like
He's
I've
a
loved him.
goofball.
I've been a James Winston fan for a long time. I love him, man. I think he's great.
You learn something about
Last
people
year,
every day.
last
I'll
year,
get you a James Winston jersey.
please do. Last year, you give me a Jameis Winston,
Florida State.
Florida State, yeah, a Florida State Jameis Winston. Yeah, he's a great guy, man.
My God.
I just think he's a great energy in the locker room, and on the sideline and in the team. I do think that he's very inconsistent as a quarterback, but he
Oh
is
yeah.
electric. He'll give you a 50-yard bomb and then two interceptions right after that. But yeah, I'm excited to see him play the Bucks this week, revenge game, because Derek Carr is trending towards not playing.
Yeah, he had a
So yeah,
concussion, right?
and Kamara, yeah, and his shoulder, his AC joint is sprained.
Oh damn.
Um, and Kamara's coming back, so we'll see what the Saints can do, man. The Saints go marching in.
We shall see. And I forgot to mention this when we were talking about the Eagles, but you reminded me because you said 50-yard bomb. When Jalen threw that deep ball and it got intercepted, which credit to the defender, that was a hell of a pick, picking off
Yeah.
right in front of Devontae Smith. But I joked with a friend, I was like, Jalen's pretty smart. He just threw an interception to get 2 points because the next play they got a fucking safety.
They
I was like,
did
hey, I mean, better than a punt.
way better
But
than a punt.
it
That
was,
was that was a very interesting call by Top Bowls. I'm like, you've been getting stuffed in the run all day.
yeah,
And the ball off to Rashad White.
and such a
And you're
long, like he was so far back when he handed it off. I was like,
so far back. He had no chance. I saw that coming from a mile away. I'm like, we are going to get a safety here. And it happened. But yeah, moving on though, unless you have something else to say about this Packer Saints game to the Texans and the Jaguars.
yes, what a shocker. I mean, the Jags. I don't know if it's because Doug Peterson apparently isn't doing play calling this year, and last year he did, but they do not look like the. I mean, they were like sixth or seventh in Super Bowl odds to start the year,
Yeah,
and they're now 1-2. Just lost to. I mean, C.J. Stroud surprisingly looked pretty good, um, but 37-17 to the Texans, like that's a team you need to beat in your division, and the Colts won, and now you're like right there in the thick of it with all these other teams. I'm just like, what are they doing? Like Ridley didn't play well. I mean, ETN still, there's just it was a weird game for them. I'm waiting for them to have like one of those 40 point games where they just slaughter somebody because they have the talent, they have the speed.
you
Um,
do.
and Trevor Lawrence is, in my eyes, I said he was a top 5 quarterback, and he's not playing like it. So we shall see. But I don't know what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, no, my thoughts were pretty much the same. I mean, in terms of the Jaguars had a very disappointing game again. I don't know what's going on with the play calling. If Dougie P is not calling offensive plays, he should be, because it's clearly not working out for them.
Uh,
Um, and oh, wait, breaking news! I think Trevor Simeon is getting signed to the Jets.
oh, you heard it here first. Trevor Simeon to the Jets of all
Yeah,
the quarterbacks.
he just landed in New Jersey minutes ago. If and when he passes his physical, he will sign with the Jets practice squad, where he will definitely be the starter. I will talk about Zach Wilson later. I'm not going to talk about him now because I have so much to say about Zachy.
Hmm.
But Jaguars, yeah, they have a terrible. They've had some pretty questionable suspect games. They got to figure it out because there's no reason why they should be losing 37-17 to the Texans. Now, for the Texans' credit, C.J. Stroud, man, what a start he's had to the
Oh
NFL.
yeah, top
He
five in
has been
passing already.
looking, yeah, he's been looking really good. And I loved C.J. Stroud coming out of Ohio State. I thought that he was definitely the best I thought that he was probably going to be the best quarterback out of the rookie quarterbacks. Not because I think that he has the most talent. I think that Bryce Young has the most talent, but Bryce Young just looks so small on the football field.
He does. He
He
does.
looks so small, and he makes good reads. He makes good throws. He's made some rookie throws, which you expect. But man, Bryce Young, he looks. The biggest concern to me is his size. He
Hmm.
looks small because Kyler Murray's small, but he's stocky. He's a beefy kid. He's a
Yeah.
beefy little bit. But man, he looks small. But CJ Stroud, man, he's looking good, especially with what he has around him. You know, Nico Collins and Tank Dell. He's got young receivers, and he's doing all this with young receivers. I
Yeah.
think the Texans got a guy. But besides that, really not much to say about this game.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to the Texans. They, like I said last year, they play hard. Like they weren't really getting like murdered last year. Like they were. I mean, even when they played the Eagles, it was like a close game for a while. They played teams hard, and it's showing now that D'Amico Ryan's at the helm and instilling some more toughness in them. And so I'm, I mean, I'm rooting more for the Jags, but I'm not against seeing the Texans do well. I think it's been since the Andre Johnson years that they've had a good team. So, well, I guess
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson when he was
Deshaun Watson.
better with Hopkins. I
When he
went a
was,
little too far back there with Andre Johnson, but
yeah, I was like, whoa, you skipped over
so
Deshaun
skip the
Watson.
whole timeline. But moving
Sorry,
on.
that was messy.
Moving
Um,
on, we got the Browns smacked the Titans 27-3. I don't know what happened in this game.
Matt,
Um, let's see how bad the stats were. Ryan Tannehill, 13 of 25 with 104 yards. Derrick Henry had 20 rushing yards and 11 carries.
terrible.
He's not looked good. Like he looks like he's regressed this
Yeah,
year. I hate to say it, but he
yeah.
has.
I was listening to Pardon My Take yesterday, and they were talking about the stat that some guy on some Reddit thread found, where what number of carry do star running backs start kind of declining, and it was 1,800. Their
Uh-huh.
1,800 carry is when they start like historically just like declining, and he just hit that not that long ago.
Mm.
So we might be seeing the fall of Derrick Henry, but man, he's been good. He's been good for longer than anybody thought he was going to be great. So I mean, running back's a young man's position. He's had a great run. Not saying that it's over, but man, yeah, he has not been looking great. But credit to the Browns. Browns have the top five defense in my eyes.
Oh, they're
They are
Miles Garrett is
stacked.
a bad man. He
Stacked.
is a bad man.
I would hate. I think that I'd be more afraid of seeing Miles Garrett running at me than like Freddy Krueger because Miles Garrett is a monster and he
He's
looks scary. He looks terrifying.
he's built
Like I would,
like a Greek god. So I mean,
he's insane. He's a specimen.
did you see that video of him dunking?
Yes,
Terrifying.
I've seen it. It's
Terrifying.
terrible. You ever seen the Harold and Kumar Escape Guantanamo Bay?
uh I know what you're talking about. I don't know if I've seen it though.
There's just one scene. I'll send it to you after we're done recording here, where they're like riding through like this neighborhood that clearly looks like it's a bad neighborhood, and then like they see a bunch of guys playing basketball on the streets, and they're just like, yeah, man, like the Kumar in the passenger seat is just like, yeah, man, just honk the horn, like tell them to move, don't move. And then out of the crowd, this giant dude, huge muscular guy, is just like, give me the ball. And then they're just like, yep, let's turn around. And then
Let's
they
turn
turn
around.
around. I'm like, that's
That's
literally Miles.
that's Miles Garrett. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
but
with
yeah,
Zadarius Smith on the other side, oh my God,
yeah,
that's probably the top
it's
tandem in the league,
crazy.
honestly.
Yeah, it's a great defensive front that they got there. Top five defense. Kevin Stefanski, he does great things.
Well, you know who's calling defense? Jim Schwartz.
Schwartz, that's right. Yeah, Jim
He
Schwartz.
always goes through those phases where he has like a top five defense and then it just falls apart. Right now he's got a top five defense, so let him rock. But
Yeah, he
eventually
does.
it'll wear down. But they look really. I mean, even Deshaun Watson played well. 27 of
Sean
33,
Watson,
289 yards, two tutties. Mari
he played.
Cooper still can play.
Mark
So
Cooper got traded for a 6th round pick. I'll never let the Cowboys and Cowboys fans forget about that. Crazy. Crazy.
but
But yeah, moving on. If we're done with the Browns to the Bills,
hmm,
Commanders,
smack the
and man,
Commanders. A lot
I
of
got
lot of blowouts this weekend.
yeah, I got a blow to pick.
37-3.
Yeah, I had a coworker, a huge Commanders fan. Won't say his name, but he said that the Commanders would quote smack the Bills and establish themselves as a Super Bowl contender.
Oh,
And I was like, okay, sure. And then after the fourth Sam Howell pick, I think that we can all see where the Commanders season is going to go. Not saying that he's going to play like that every year, every game, but I think that we had a little bit of a correction with a lot of teams this week, a market correction, and the Commanders they have a pretty good defense, but I think that there's still some question marks with the offense. And Sam Howell, I think that he can win you some games. He can get the ball down the field. He can make some good plays. But we have to remember that, I mean, he's still basically a rookie. He hasn't really played too much at all.
yeah.
So we're definitely going to see more. I think we're going to see more games like we did um, on Sunday against the Bills when he's playing a competent defense. So this week against the Eagles, I don't know what the over under for Sam Howell picks is, but take the over.
I
You're the
think
first.
I think this will be the Hassan Reddick game. I hope.
I hope.
It just seems like they always I don't want to say sack the fuck out of them, but they sacked the fuck out of the Washington Commanders last year. So
Yeah,
we'll
wins,
see.
man.
Brian Robinson looks good though. That's the
He
one bright
does.
spot. He looks good.
He does.
So
Yeah. He looks really good. Eric Bieniemy being the offensive coordinator now, I think that, like I said, I think that they'll still be very competitive. I wouldn't even be surprised if they made the playoffs in a wild card. But they still have some question marks to answer.
yeah,
And Sam Howell, I think he's good. I just think he needs more. I think he needs more time. But hey, credit to him. He's looked okay up until that game. But I mean, who have they really played up until the Bills this year? Um,
true.
so Bills, Josh Allen is still incredible. So all the Josh Allen haters can stop it. I am a Josh Allen not hater, but
Advocate.
not an advocate. I
Oh,
think he's good,
so
but
you're
I
a
just don't.
bystander.
I think that I'm a bystander that's just like, yeah, he's good, but
Yeah,
he can also throw 4 picks in a game.
he's elite. He's elite when he wants not when he wants to be, but he has moments where he's a top three quarterback in the league, and then he has moments where he's a like top
Sure.
20 quarterback in the league.
Or
So
he's white Dak Prescott because he'll give you. He has these games where he tries to be Superman. He
hmm,
tries to make these tight throws or these bad decisions or run the ball. When he has receivers open downfield, instead of just putting the game on his shoulder, instead of making his his big time players make big time plays. He puts the game on his shoulder, and he really costs and hurts that team. So he has to keep doing what he did this weekend, and I think the Bills are going to be fine. They're still really good. Josh Allen is still great. Stephon Diggs is still fantastic. Gabe Davis is still, a solid second receiver. So the Bills are going to be fine. James
yeah,
Cook is also pretty good.
yeah. Gonna skip through and just give scores for a couple less important games. Patriots beat the Jets 15-10. I don't think there's too many surprises there.
Nope.
Seahawks beat the Panthers 37-27. Seahawks offense looks pretty good. They're clicking. Their defense needs some work, but so far
Kenneth
so good.
Walker's my guy.
Yeah,
Love Kenneth Walker.
he's a good running back. And then the Bengals beat the Rams in a really ugly, quiet game, 19-16 on Monday night.
Terrible.
They had the Steelers on primetime again. They beat the Raiders 23-18, and Josh McDaniels is the most confusing coach.
Terrible
Head
game.
scratching play calls. Like you and I could have called a better game than he did.
Terrible game.
Doesn't make sense.
Terrible.
The Chiefs slaughtered the Bears, and Justin Fields continues to look horrible.
Surprise.
41-10. So remember when everyone was saying Justin Fields is going to be better than Jalen Hurts?
Yes, thank you, because you have heard. I talked to my friends about it. I talked to Andy, for example, about it. Not the name drop. He's not going to listen to this anyway. I'm just like,
Yeah.
yo.
Come on, Andy.
I'm just like, yo, Andy, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, I haven't seen anybody. I haven't seen anybody say that Justin Fields is going to be better than Jalen Hurts or like a top quarterback in the NFC. I'm like, I don't know what you are reading, but I have been seeing that all off season, and it has been driving me insane.
Yeah.
Justin Fields sucks, but I'll get to him. But yeah, that was a bad game. And I hate the fact that sports media is so obsessed with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Can we please stop? Y'all are weird. Y'all are weird.
I'm here for the popcorn because I think it's hilarious how many middle-aged men go on social media to complain about how tired they are of hearing it. I'm like, it'll fade in like a week or two. Just like relax. Oh, I don't want to see any more Taylor Swift. Stop NFL. Stop posting about Taylor Swift. Like, you're
I'm
really
sick of
that
it.
oppressed by it? Like, relax.
I'm not impressed by it. I just think it's weird.
It is a little. I mean, that's marketing. Like,
Yeah, it's weird.
look at he got Travis Kelce got 300,000 new followers on Instagram in a day because of Taylor Swift.
I
That's
saw. So
that's a little scary. You know, the
he said,
Swifties are a cult. They're a clan.
I saw a Swifty. The first, like
A
the
live one
creepiest. No, the creepiest, the creepiest post I've seen
in the wild.
so far. Yeah, in the wild, just creeping.
Ugh.
Like the creepiest post I've seen was this Taylor Swift fan. She posted like a long, a giant tweet where it was like three paragraphs where she was breaking down everything about Travis Kelce, his zodiac sign, talking about the zodiac symbols and the stars, and whether or not they're going to be compatible, and his relationships in the past, why they ended, and his upbringing as a child. I'm like, y'all are weird.
Yeah.
Get help, please.
Yeah. Stop it. Get some help.
Get some help. Get a job. Do
It's
something.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's weird. Let me tell you.
that game.
Whatever Nike shoes she was wearing, they like skyrocketed in price too. I was like, what is with people? Like the celebrity worship is insane. I've never been a part of it, never understood it.
Nope.
Oh well. Anyways, let's see what other game I didn't cover. Colts beat the Ravens in overtime. That was a bit of a shocker. The Gardner Minshew show. He does it at least once a game every year. Shows out, beats a team he shouldn't. So shout
And
out to Gardner Minshew.
the safety that was really bad.
Yeah.
He stepped out of bounds in the end zone.
And then obviously,
That was safety, right?
for which one?
Gardner Minshew, he stepped out of bounds in the end zone.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was like the play right before the drive where they kicked a field goal to win.
Oh, they didn't call
But
it.
I don't. Oh, they didn't call it.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see. I just saw like highlights from the. I didn't see overtime highlights, but I saw the like when the game was going on.
I don't know if it was in overtime that he did that or in regulation, but he definitely stepped out of bounds in the end zone
Oh damn.
before. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
I was gonna say, obviously, our favorite win of the weekend was the Eagles beating the Bucks, but my second favorite win, the Arizona Cardinals beating them Cowboys 28-16. Oh my God, the smile on my face. I was like, oh, the Cardinals are gonna blow it. The Cowboys will come back. Nope, they held
I got a
out.
question for you.
Yeah.
Did you ride the bus today? You got a fire in your gut?
I do have a fire in my gut.
I'm looking for some fucking killers.
Bro, the fact that Jonathan Gannon went into a room with $1 million athletes and said, "Who here took the bus?" Like, who do you think you're talking to?
He's talking to some high schoolers. Oh
Kills
man,
me. He's so weird. He's
he's a weird
so
guy.
pair him with Jameis Winston. You got double trouble of weirdos. But yeah, it was great seeing the Cowboys lose.
Yeah, it was great to see the Cowboys lose against a clearly inferior opponent, the Arizona Cardinals. And hey, man, congrats to Jonathan Gannon. I wish him all the worst, and I hope that he has
Not
nothing
all
but
the
a
worst.
yeah. I wish him the worst. I hate him. I hate him so much. I hate the Cowboys more. So you know, I won twice this weekend.
Hmm.
Eagles fans everywhere won twice.
I will
I'm glad
say,
it sealed the game. Ex Eagle.
I will say, I sprinted to the NFL memes account on Instagram as soon as the Cowboys lost because I knew they were going to post something about it. But then they followed up another post about it was like the NFL explained for new Taylor Swift football fans. It was like explaining all the like the rules really quickly, and then the last bullet point they had is like the Dallas Cowboys always suck no matter how much their fans will try to convince you otherwise. And I was like, yep, that's an important thing to know when you start watching football. So I I thought that was fucking funny, but
Yeah.
yes. So that is a wrap on week 3. Week 4 coming up. But before we get to game picks and power rankings, we've got to do some studs and duds. And we actually have a double studs and duds. We have Tim Studs and Duds from Germany, which I will just mention the names. I won't get into the numbers, but Mike has his own studs and duds. So I'm really excited to see this, and we'll let you start it off and then see where it goes. So let's hear it.
Yeah, man. I'm doing this for in Tim's absence. He does a great job with this every time he
Oh,
does it.
don't give him props. Don't do that. Inflate his little ego.
Like, I can live up, to his standard.
Oh
But
man.
I'll start with studs. With the first stud on our list, we got Keenan Allen.
Oof.
Stud. Keenan
Oof.
Allen had 18 catches, 225 receiving yards,
Hmm.
and a touchdown pass for 45 yards.
Yeah,
So he had
touchdown
a
pass, not a catch. Touchdown pass.
touchdown pass. Yeah, more. He had a better day at QB than Zach Wilson. So yeah, Keenan Allen stud, first stud on my list. Second stud is C.J. Stroud.
Hmm.
C.J. Stroud, he almost has 1,000 passing yards, almost 1,000 in 3 games.
With Nico
To a wide
Collins.
to a wide receiver room that most people cannot name, Nico Collins and Tank Dell.
Yep.
He's had a great start to the NFL. He has 121 pass attempts with no interceptions. He looks very poised in the pocket. Does not look like the raw rookie that we all thought that we would see. So
Hmm.
CJ Stroud, man, keep on balling over in Houston.
0 interceptions. That's huge for a rookie quarterback starting.
Huge. Yeah, throwing to some young guys. Um, and then my third stud, which comes to no surprise, Mr. Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter,
Ooh, I like
the,
it.
the NFL, you fucked up. Y'all let the Eagles draft Jalen Carter, ninth overall. And man, he played in less than 50% of the snaps last night, and he had half a sack and a forced fumble. That forced fumble,
Violent.
bro,
He came out of nowhere.
I jumped out of my couch and just started going insane. That was the highlight of the game to me. It was great. Besides winning it, obviously, but Jalen Carter, seeing him come behind Rashad White and punch that ball out for
Mm.
the forced fumble that James Bradbury scooped, man, great, great. Jalen Carter is a stud. He is a menace, especially playing less than 50% of the snaps in most games. I think that, the Eagles have enough depth where they don't need to use him too much.
Yeah.
Still ease him into it, but man, is he a menace.
He's helped Fletcher Cox's season. Like Fletch looks like a new like the old Fletch. He's been making plays and getting into the backfield. Like he's
They
got the
don't need
fountain of youth too now, so it's good to
they
see.
don't need they don't need to rely on him as much. They can give him a break, which
Yeah.
is great. Love it. So now do we move on to the duds?
I'll do Tim. So Tim also had Keenan Allen.
Love it.
Who did you had? You had Keenan and Jalen Carter and who else? And CJ
CJ
Stroud.
Stroud.
So Tim had Keenan Allen as his number two. He had Tank Dell as his number three, and his number one stud was Devin A. Chain, obviously of the Dolphins. So
I
nice,
was
pretty good
debating.
company.
I was debating whether or not I wanted Devin A. Chain. He was
Yeah.
honorable mention.
Okay.
Because, Devin A. Chain obviously 200 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Crazy.
Um, but the Broncos defense they gave up.
They
It's
folded.
fair to say that they folded. Um, but man, I thought that the ultimate trolling moment for the Dolphins was letting Robbie Anderson get a touchdown. That was
I
hilarious.
saw that and I was like, oh, he changed his name again because he
It
was
was
like Robbie Anderson, then he was Chosen Anderson, now he's Robbie Chosen. I'm like, bro, make up your like, just what are you doing?
oh, man. I hate that guy.
He's
But
weird. I
yeah,
mean, Temple alum, so we can't hate him too much. Sure, you know.
well, yeah. He's a funny guy. Like I saw a video of him talking about Carolina's mascot. He was
Oh
just like,
yeah,
"Was
what's
that a
that
bear?"
bear?
Joking.
He's like,
Sir
bro,
Purr.
That's Sir Purr. Who that? He's a panther. That's our mascot. What do you mean? Oh, he kills me. That video is so funny.
Yeah, it's
But
ridiculous.
so
Um,
go ahead with the duds. Who you got?
Duds, lots of duds. I'll mention the one honorable mention that I did not put on the list because I don't think it's fair with all the things that he's been through past couple weeks. Alexander Madison. The comments from the Minnesota fan base is unacceptable. He should
Hmm.
never the game. It should never come to that. But man, does he stink at football? Um, yeah. Next dud on the list for me is definitely the first dud, the first official dud, not just like an honorable mention with Alexander Madison. But Josh McDaniels, he he is
Clown.
he's a bad coach. Not going for it on fourth down in the red zone is really interesting because you still need a touchdown to win. So if you don't get it, you would still need the touchdown and you had your timeouts. Why would you not go for it? I
Hmm.
understand that he was not great on the red zone in the red zone during that game, but you have to give him a chance. You have to give your players a chance to play and make a big play for you. So yeah, Josh McDaniels, hot seat, right next to Brandon Staley. So he's the first dud. Second dud, Matt Eberflus should be fired, stripped of his duties as head coach, along with everybody else, with Luke Getsy, trade Justin Fields, start over. They just have to start over because you can say that Justin Fields has been playing bad, and he has. He was almost on the dud list, but I realized the Bears aren't doing him any favors. They haven't been doing him any
True.
favors since he started. So I think that they should restart. I think that he needs to restart his career somewhere else, not in Chicago, because Chicago has proven to be a very poor organization to develop young QBs. So yeah, Matt Eberflus, huge dud. If I could put the entire Chicago Bears organization as the dud, I would. But we said one person from one team.
True.
So yeah, Matt Eberflus.
Okay. I actually saw. I wonder if I can. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it. There was a someone put Mitch Trubisky's stats next to Justin Fields' stats in their first three seasons or whatever. Same amount of games played at this point, and Trubisky has better numbers. So what is that? I mean, granted, just Fields now he has weapons. Previous 2 years he didn't. I'll give him that much. But you got DJ Moore, you have, Chase Claypool, who at one point was really, up and coming. Cole Kmet's a good tight end. You got some Khalil Herbert's a nice running back. You got weapons, but the offensive line sure could use some better work, but not every elite quarterback has a great offensive line. So you gotta do what you gotta do. And for him to say, oh, it could be coaching, and then to backtrack and say, oh, well, I gotta be better, stuff like that. It's like you said, it's a mess. The Broncos and the Bears just need to blow up their entire teams and start over because they are both a burning dumpster.
They just got it wrong.
Yeah.
The Bears are 3-17 now in the past 2 seasons. If I was Caleb Williams, I would stay at USC another year.
To avoid it.
Bro, they're just a bad organization for young
Yeah.
QBs. I would stay away from QB. I would stay away from Chicago for sure. Um, but now with the last stud in the list, not going to surprise anyone. Zach Wilson.
Oof.
Zach Wilson is bad at football. He is a
Sacked
bad.
himself.
He sacked himself. He has guess how many yards he has in the past 3 games. Just guess. All-purpose starter.
I haven't looked, so I don't know. Last 3 games combined, like passing yards,
Yeah, yeah.
180.
No, it's actually a lot better than that. He's got 467, but he's got
Oh,
more interceptions than he has touchdowns. He's got 4 interceptions
uh-huh.
and 2 touchdown passes. He has a 57 passer rating. The Jets
57.
deserve better. Yeah, Jets deserve better. New York, I'm sorry. You are a cursed franchise
Mm-hmm.
because nothing can go your way. But I promise you, don't believe the hype. Don't believe Robert Salah. Zach Wilson is not the answer. He is bad at football. Trade for Jameis Winston or sign Carson Wentz off the street. Get somebody back there because either one of those two
Trevor
options would be
Simeon.
significantly better. Trevor Simeon is not great. But he is better than Zach Wilson.
I mean, it's bad when you have Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Namath coming out and saying, I don't want Zach Wilson on my football team. So,
Yes. Joe Namath has spoken. So now hopefully the Jets listen and get rid of Zach Wilson, which it looks like they're trending towards that with Trevor Simeon um, signing with the Jets. So Garrett Wilson fantasy owners, don't hit the panic button yet. Don't sell this low. If you're selling, make sure that you're getting something significantly better because I don't think Garrett Wilson's going to be this bad for the rest of the season. It's not his fault. It's Zach Wilson's fault. So
yeah.
yeah, those.
It's funny as a Philadelphia sports fan because New York's our rivals and a lot of like I don't like the Knicks. I hate the Mets. I hate the Yankees. I know you're a Yankees fan. Hate the Yankees.
All good.
I'm indifferent on the Jets. Obviously hate the Giants. Um, but you gotta feel a little bad for New York football fans because they both Giants and Jets fans went into this year thinking that they had playoff aspirations for both teams. The Giants have looked miserable and they got better over the offseason but they still don't look good. And the Jets were probably top 7 Super Bowl contenders and their defense is still playing well, but you have no quarterback. You had this whole Aaron Rodgers hype and in 4 plays he was out for the year.
Yeah,
So sucks. It
terrible.
does suck. It's you want it to be a good sport. You want it to be competitive teams because right now when you have only three and O teams and a lot of teams. I mean, when Tim and I were talking about doing the top 10 power ranking, like we were struggling with 7 to 10 because we're like these teams suck. Like there's really only like a handful of good teams so far. So it's weird. It's a weird season so far, and
It's
we'll
weird.
see.
It's weird. Also, fuck Mac Jones. I hate that kid. He's a piece of shit. This isn't the first time we've seen him do dirty shit like this in games
Yeah.
where he's taking dirty blows toward at players. You suck. You're a loser. And yeah, uh, fuck Mac Jones. You fit the Boston population just right.
Yeah, he's a weird guy too. But I
Weird
don't
guy.
mean I don't see him being a Patriot for too many more years. But
Nah.
um so Tim's duds were number 1, Zach Wilson. Like you and I discussed, Derrick Henry at number 2. And then he had Jimmy G coming in at number 3. So I probably would have voted the coach over the quarterback for number 3 there with the Raiders, but both are ass. So
Both are booty butt. Yeah, for sure.
all right. Real quick, I will run through updated power rankings. So Eagles remain at the top. We have the Dolphins jumping up to number 2 because they are terrifying right now. They're like points
Powerhouse.
differentials like plus 58 or something insane. I mean that 70-point game will inflate that, but it's still crazy.
Yeah.
Niners at number 3, so our top 3 teams are all undefeated. Chiefs stay at number 4. Bills at number 5. Cowboys dropped to 6, still in the top 10, but they dropped to 6. They're still good, sadly. Browns look pretty good. That, like you said, that's a top 5 defense, and if they can get that kind of offensive output from Watson and Cooper, like they could be decent. So they come at 7. Ravens after a loss dropped to 8. Seahawks have looked pretty good at 9, and then we have the Lions still hanging on at number 10 there for our power rankings. Oh, I forgot. I have my too much whiz. We're rushing through things. we're forgetting to do segments, so I'll keep it quick for us because we are running into a long episode here.
All good. I
So
love it.
so Michael, welcome to Too Much Whiz. Basically, you know, hot takes basically of I'll give you three, and you gotta tell me is that too much whiz, meaning it's too much low over exaggerated, it's not really gonna happen, or is it just the right amount of whiz that you think, yeah, it looks like it's gonna happen, it's an accurate statement. So
No,
too much whiz. Tua will win MVP this year.
week
Very
three.
straightforward.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's too much whiz for week three.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
because it's only week three, but it's just a little bit, just a little too much. Currently it's not a super hot take to say that he'll win MVP, but there's
Hmm.
still the question marks. Will he stay healthy? Especially playing against a very good defense, which he's going to. Where, for example, like the Eagles, the pass rush is probably going to get home. He's going to take some hits. Can he stay healthy? Is he going to be this healthy? If he stays this healthy the entire season, I think that he will win MVP because the competition, just isn't really there. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, you can make a case for him, but he doesn't have the receivers to put up the yards like Tua does. And then Jalen Hurts is the other person that I think that would be up there if this offense could get going and he could,
Hmm.
figure out the passing game a little bit more. Josh Allen, no, he's going to continue to throw picks. He's going to continue to have good games, but I think he's just a pick factory, and that's just in his
Pick
DNA.
factory.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that I think that they have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, but I just think that Josh Allen is when you put him and compare him to Tua and the level that he's playing,
Hmm.
he's not turning the ball over. He's making great decisions in the pocket, and he's got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle wasn't even healthy for this game. I need people
Yeah,
to understand.
that's what people don't remember. Like they're like, oh, 70 points, like because Waddle didn't even play. That's why Robbie
No,
Anderson, chosen and whatever his name is, was getting
yeah,
reps.
so I think that Tua has the best chances, not because he's the most talented, but because he has the best situation.
That's fair. Okay. Now I think I already kind of know your answer on this based on what you were saying earlier. Um, but going into this year after the draft, I think a lot of people were thinking, um, you know, Anthony Richardson was probably gonna be the best QB of the class, maybe Bryce Young, or maybe even if the guy who got drafted by Tennessee gets some playing time. But not too much love for CJ Stroud because he played on the Texans and they didn't really have weapons on offense besides Pierce at running back. So my question to you, too much whiz. CJ Stroud will finish as the best quarterback of this past draft class for this season.
Just the right amount of whiz. I
Okay.
think that is accurate. Anthony Richardson, I think he just looks better than we expected him to look.
Hmm.
But I don't think that he is going to have a better season than C.J. Stroud. He's a Russian quarterback. I think that Shane Steichen is going to continue to do that. I think that he's more susceptible to injury. He's already missed 2 games, or 1 game, two
Just
games.
he got knocked out in like the first quarter and then
Yeah,
missed so like 1.5 kind of.
he's pretty much missed 2 games,
Yeah,
and I don't think that's going to be the last game he misses. I think he's going. I think that if they keep doing what they're doing with him now, they can run around the field. He's going to continue to get hurt. NFL's different. The speed, the strength, the hits that you take are different. So, hopefully he understands that and they protect him a little bit more. But I think that CJ Stroud just his passing has been on fire. I think he's going to have the best season. And Bryce Young, uh, I don't think that he is going to have anywhere near the season that CJ Stroud does. And that's not entirely his fault. I think that it's not going to be this season isn't going to be a good grasp of how good he could be. We're going to get we're going to get peaks and flashes. But I think that they need to protect him a little bit more, give him some better weapons on offense. Because DJ Chark and Adam Thielen are not.
yeah. Chark had some time, but he was never really like a really good receiver. He was just like a guy, I guess. But yeah, I kind of agree with that. Um, little bonus plate action here for you. Will CJ Stroud take the Texans to the playoffs this year?
No,
No. Okay.
I don't
Not too
think
much
so.
thought in that.
No.
Too soon. All right. And my last too much whiz. And again, kind of have an idea what. Well, we'll see. Too much whiz. The Travis Kelce Taylor Swift relationship will continue to be talked about and will end up actually causing trouble for the Chiefs.
Too much
Not sure
whiz.
how. I'm just kind of spitballing here.
Too much whiz.
Okay.
I think that Travis, just from listening to the way he carries himself as a player and the way that the team operates from, tuning in pretty much every week to his podcast, and his relationship with Andy Reid, I think that he's not going to let that happen. I don't think that it will cause trouble. I think that it will continue to be talked about for a long time, pretty much the entirety of the season,
Hmm.
because the media, they love spinning shit.
Yep.
So if they stop seeing each other, they're going to spin that. If they continue to see each other and it becomes more public, they're going to run with that shit and eat it up. So I don't think it's going to cause problems for the Chiefs, though.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking more of like it will be a distraction, but I kind of agree. I don't think really much is gonna. I feel like she'll be quiet. I think it's more of her cult would cause problems, but that's not going to be on the field. So I think they'll be just fine. All right. So moving on to our final part of the episode, our game picks. Looking back, we all of us did really well. Tim and I included, and our guest picks continue to do phenomenal. We had Seth on. He was on for an episode, I think in our first year or our second year. So he's done game picks before. He went 12-4. So the guest
Wow.
picks continue to just sweep us. But Tim and I did pretty good. I also went 12-4. Tim went 10-6 this week. So we're back on the winning side. My first week was horrible. Second week was better, and now this week's even better. So I'm happy with my luck in that aspect. But yeah, we're gonna have Mike did obviously week 2, and you went I think 10-6. So also really good job there. Um, but we're
Thank
gonna
you.
gonna add on here. So we don't have Tim's picks. He will get that to us at a later date. But Mike and I will go through it. Starting off Thursday Night Football, we have a divisional game. Lions at the Packers. Who are you liking there?
Lions. I
Oh,
like the
okay.
Lions. I think that the Dan Campbell train marches on.
I'm almost tempted to pick the Packers because they're at home and it's a night game, but I don't know. I also I want to believe in the Lions, so I think I'll
I
stick
want to
with
be
the
the
Lions
Lions.
too.
I like the
Yeah.
Lions. I think that this is a big Jameer Gibbs game. So please, I'm going to keep saying that until it happens.
This will be a statement game if the Lions can win. They need a win at Lambeau on prime time. It's
Again,
huge.
yeah.
We have a London game. I think it's in London. Falcons at the Jaguars at 9:30 in the morning. I will probably still be sleeping, trying to catch up on sleep from getting up early
Gonna,
for work. But
gonna fade the shit
Falcons
out
at
of
the
this game.
Jags, who you liking?
The Jags. I'm going to fade this game. I might watch that Toy Story reenactment just
Oh,
to see what.
I'm actually pretty intrigued by that.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to fade this game. I'm not going to wake up to watch this. But the Jags take it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jaguars take care of business. Falcons kind of showed their colors
Get
last
right,
week. So,
get right game for the Falcons. I mean, get right game for the Jaguars.
yeah. Moving to the 1 o'clock games, we have the Rams at the Colts. I mean, Matt Stafford and his random trio of receivers that we've never heard of are doing pretty well. Um, I think I'm
Yeah.
going to take the Rams here, honestly.
I'm assuming Gardner Minshew's going to start again.
Probably.
If he starts again, I'm just gonna pick the Rams. Honestly,
Okay.
I'm just gonna go with the Rams.
I think the Rams have been surprisingly better. I know they're 1-2, but I think they've
Tom
been
McVay's a great
playing
coach.
playing much better, huh?
Tom McVay's a great coach, and Matthew
Yeah.
Stafford is still a great quarterback.
Well, I
You
think
know,
he's healthier than people thought he was going to be. So I think
he
that's
is.
that's contributing to it. And with no Cooper Cup, they're still putting up some pretty good yardage. So moving on,
Rams.
this will be a good game. Ravens at the Browns, 1 o'clock.
Mhm.
You know
Give me the
what?
Browns all
I was gonna
day.
say, yeah, go ahead. I'm riding that Browns train. Um, Ravens have been rough. I mean, they're good, but like the injury bug just it kills them every year. And look
Every
at
year.
like now that they have injuries at running back again, Lamar ran for 100 yards, threw for 200. Like he's got to do it all again. So I think Browns, Miles Garrett, Darius Smith get after it. Browns secondary's been pretty good. I like the Browns in this.
For sure. Yeah,
Um,
the Ravens need to pick somebody up like a reliable running back, either off
yeah.
the trade block or free agents. They got to go for somebody because they need the help in the backfield.
hmm Next game we have the Vikings at the Panthers. What do you like in there?
Dakota, I want to take the Panthers so bad because
Do it.
I want the Vikings to go 0-4. But I can't see them lose to the Panthers. But you know what? Fuck it. They're going to Carolina. Panthers. Give
Oh,
me the Panthers. Big Red Rifle game. Or if Bryce Young comes back, he gets his first win.
okay. All right. I'm gonna take the Vikings. They need a win to stay relevant in this playoff race, so we shall
Okay.
see. If they lose, though, I think that screams Kirk Cousins getting traded. So
You gotta
yeah,
smash the
yep.
button. Yeah.
Next game, Bengals at the Titans. I mean, Titans don't look like a great team. I mean, Tannehill should be put in a nursing home. Um, uh, they really only have two good players on defense, and that's why they got slammed by the Browns, so I'm gonna take the Bengals here.
Yeah. Give me Cincy. I think Cincy is on their way to getting it right. Last night was a little encouraging. They got it going on offense a little bit. Joe Mixon finally got a touchdown. Jesus Christ. And Jamar Chase finally got over 100 yards receiving. So I
It's a
think that
get
they're
right
going to
game,
figure.
yeah.
I think that this is a get right game where they reestablish themselves as a dominant offense, great team. I still think that the Bengals are going to go far in the postseason. They usually start pretty slow. So
Hmm.
I like the Bengals in this game.
All right, we shall see. Next game, we have the Buccaneers at the Saints.
Jameis revenge game. Give me the Saints. Saints -7. Let's do it.
-7. Oh, damn. That's actually
Minus
I might bet on that. But no,
minus 6.5. 6.5.
all right. I'm taking the Bucks. I mean, I Baker looked really bad against the Eagles, but I think the Eagles. I mean, shout out, Bradbury. I mean, he played really well in the slot. They kind of
He
took
did.
away. They took away a lot. Like the Eagles really struggled in the middle of the field on short passing, and I don't know if it was because of Bradbury or because the linebackers played well, but they kind of took it out. And I mean, besides that one drive, the Buccaneers couldn't do anything. So, and they got some
Yeah.
weapons. Godwin, Evans, a good running back, but they couldn't do anything. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm taking the Bucks to beat the Saints there.
Yeah. I'm taking the Saints. I don't love this Bucks team. I think that Baker is a gamer. I think that he puts his body on the line for the guys to win games, but I think he's still Baker, and I think that the Saints are going to pull another one on the Bucks here. I think Jameis is going to have a big game,
Okay.
like two touchdowns over the air. I think it's going to happen.
Catch Mike as the Eagles fan by day and a Jameis Winston fan by night. You heard it here first. um Interesting game here. And I'm gonna make a bold prediction that the winner of this game wins their division. We have
Man,
Dolphins at the Bills.
I have a bone to pick with the NFL. Flex the Jets. Flex the Jets. Put the Bills, Dolphins on prime time. Why are these teams playing at 1 p.m.? This is a
Yeah,
prime time game. This
yeah.
is must watch TV. Must watch TV. We have the potential for a shootout here. If this turns into a shootout, it could be the best game of the year. It could also be the worst game of the year. It could also be a defensive masterclass. We will see. We'll see what Sean McDermott cooks up on defense for this Dolphins offense that has been looking unstoppable. But I have to tell you, I like the Dolphins here.
I'm like I said, I think the winner wins the division. And I still think this is the Bills division to lose. So I'm taking the Bills to knock off the Dolphins, give them their first L of the season. And yeah, I think it'll be a great game though. Hopefully. Hopefully.
I like the Dolphins. Yeah.
Yeah. We won't be able to watch too much of it though, because the Eagles play one of their, I think they only have three 1 o'clock games all year. But this is one of them playing the Commanders at home. I think we both know who we're going with here, riding with the Birds
Yeah. All day.
all day, every day.
Not much to say there. Now Broncos Bears. Loser. Loser is officially the worst team in the NFL.
Do we do fans of these teams, are they going to get paid to have to watch this game? Because this is we how much shit we just talked about them earlier in the episode. My
This
God,
is the worst.
how did the NFL know? Hey, they're going to get smacked by the Chiefs and the Broncos are going to get smacked by the Dolphins. Let's put them on. Let's make them fight each other next week.
Yeah,
It's gonna
it's
be
terrible.
a 3-2 game. Someone's gonna get a safety. Someone's gonna get a field goal. I'm gonna take the Broncos to get there. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna take the Broncos.
Broncos. I'm taking the Broncos. There's no
Yeah,
situation I'm taking the Bears. Yeah, Broncos. Broncos get their first win to give them a little confidence and win like maybe like 3 or 4 more games.
yeah,
The
it looks
Bears
bleak.
Bears officially throw in the white flag after this game. They throw in the towel. I think if they start thinking about next year and start trying to make moves to offload or get what they can, load up on picks.
Hmm.
But the Bears are bad. And the Broncos are just a little less bad. So winner leaves town. Winner leaves town.
Fucking game of the year right here. Jesus
Loser leaves
Christ.
town. Loser leaves town for this game.
It's
Loser is the
inc it's incredible that we have Dolphins versus Bills at 1 p.m. and then Broncos at Bears at 1 p.m. My God.
one. And we'll be watching
The best
like
of the best and the worst of the worst. Okay.
even people in the stadium will be watching a different game on their phone.
I don't know. Moving on,
Terrible.
we have the Steelers at the Texans. What do you like?
This
I'm
is
kind of tempted. I'm kind of
this
tempted.
is no. This is the CJ Stroud correction game. I have to
Hmm.
tell you. I think that the Steelers are going to win, and CJ Stroud's going to get sacked twice. He's going to throw an interception, the first interception of the year. He's still going to have a good day passing, but I think that he is. This is the correction game where he gets his welcome to the NFL moment.
I kind of want to take the Texans, but I do kind of agree with you that it's gonna come eventually that he has one of those games. And I think Steelers defense is playing a little better than the Jaguars defense, at
Steelers
least so
defense.
far. Excuse me. So yeah, I'll have to agree with you there. Steelers for me. Next game, Raiders at the Chargers. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
I hate both these teams. If you guys want to Sherlock bet that this game will go into overtime because it always does.
You have a good point there. Yeah.
They the Raiders and the Chargers always find a way to extend these games. They're always in overtime. I don't understand it, but bet that they go in overtime because they're going to, and I think that the Chargers take it in overtime because Jimmy G will not be playing. Um, I forget who the second stringer is. He
No,
had a
yeah.
pretty good preseason though. But yeah, Chargers take it in overtime.
Bold prediction. All right.
Yeah.
Another 4 o'clock game. We have the Cardinals at the 49ers. Yeah, there's no win streak here for the Cardinals. I'm going 49ers.
It's going to be a whomping.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals are going to get whomped if they beat the 49ers. Are the Cardinals for real?
I mean, no. They got
No.
Josh Dobbs is playing fun quarterback. Like what? Like
Yeah, 49ers. They continue their win streak.
yeah. Um
49ers.
I will say though, like as much as we wish for like Gannon's downfall, a win here would be good for the Eagles. So I'm kind of rooting for them. I'd like to see them beat the 49ers, but I'm taking the Niners in this one. Last 4 o'clock game, we have the Patriots at the Cowboys. Man, Patriots defense is pretty good. I would love to see them give the Cowboys hell, but I think the Cowboys will rebound and get a W here.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a defensive game, low scoring. I would take the under here. Um, and I like the Cowboys. The only time you'll hear me say that.
Next game, like you said, Sunday night we have the Chiefs at the Jets. How do and then Monday is Seahawks at the Giants. They just gave New York both primetime games at home. I don't. That's interesting.
There's only one Monday night game on Monday.
Yeah, just they went back to one now. It'll be one game the rest of the year.
Oh, nice.
Which is good. I liked the start time at 7. I hated the fact that there were 2 games going on though. So
I would have liked there to be like one game started 6, the other one started 8.
Yeah, I agree. Like 6:30, 8:30 or something. Like it would have just been so much better.
Yeah.
But who do you like in Chiefs Jets? I wonder.
I mean, come on, it's the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs, man.
Not even that it's the Chiefs, it's the Jets.
The Chiefs
and Wilson.
I do think that the Jets defense is going to give Mahomes some trouble. So I've been giving people gambling nuggets the entire game, the entire segment. So gambling nugget for this game, take the under for the Chiefs and the Jets. I think it's going to be low scoring, but I do think that the Chiefs will win. I don't think that they're going to do whatever they want on defense on offense. So
okay,
with the defense, it's for real.
I will also take Andrew in the Chiefs and Taylor Swift. And then Seahawks Giants. Who do you like in that?
This one's tough. They're playing in the Meadowlands. The Giants are bad, but they're not that bad. I'm sorry, they're not terrible. Brian Dable's a good coach. Danny Nichols, he's okay.
Not Danny Nichols.
I don't know if Saquon's going to play. If Saquon plays, I think that they might win, but I'm going to take the Seahawks.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Seahawks and take the over in this game. I think it's going to be high scoring.
Okay. I'm going to use this. I typically try to have one upset of the week, and I think Seahawks are definitely the better team. So I'm going to take the Giants here to win in my upset of the week.
Upset of the week is the Giants. Okay. Yeah, I think the Seahawks take it. I think that they hit the over, and I think Kenneth Walker anytime touchdown is a lock. So yeah.
Okay. I've learned to not take touchdown parlays anymore because they've only bit me in the ass 2 weeks in a row. I've gotten cursed by touchdown parlays, so I think I'm gonna take a break from them.
Yeah, touchdown parlays have been treating me well lately, except for last night.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little bonus for y'all. You know, the touchdown parlay of the week for me. I think I'm gonna keep betting on Jahmyr Gibbs to get a touchdown.
My God.
Until it happens. So Jahmyr Gibbs, because I love Jahmyr Gibbs and I want him to get a touchdown so bad. Raheem Mostert, and Kenneth Walker. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say Gainwell, relax there.
Kenneth Walker, Raheem Mostert, and Jahmyr Gibbs. You heard it here first. Let's see.
I think AJ Brown has to get a touchdown this week. I hope he gets one this year, but I think this week he gets one.
Yeah, he'll get one when we least expect it. So
yeah, he'll probably one of those 2-tutty, 3-tutty games. But all right, Mike, thank you a lot for hopping on in Tim's absence. You were a great substitution there. You might even get promoted to starter one day. Who knows? But no, appreciate you coming on. Great insight. Great. Love the betting. We don't get too much into betting. I know Tim's been doing, I think 3 under overs for every game picks we do. But yeah, it's nice to see a little different mix up. So
yeah, man. I love being on the pod. I'm happy to come back on anytime. Tim, hope you're having a great time at Oktoberfest. Super jealous.
Yeah, it's probably fun.
Man, hope to talk to you guys soon, and let's see if if the guests keep dominating with the picks.
Yeah, I'm getting worried. They're killing it. Shout out to the guest picks. But all right,
sure.
As always, go Birds, and have a good one.
Let's go, man. Take care. Appreciate it.
Thank you again for listening to the Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks Sports Podcast. Please like, follow, and subscribe on all your major platforms. Follow us on YouTube. Follow the show on Spotify and Apple. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Have a great day, and tune in next week.